Hello, I'm Adriana Waterston with Horowitz Research, and I'm so thrilled to be part of the Hispanic Television Summit this year, albeit virtually. And I'm really pleased to introduce my guest today, an old friend, actually. Well, you're not old. You're just been friends for a long time. Known each other for a long time. Luis Caballero is, as many of you probably know, is the Executive Director of Marketing, Integrated Strategy and Marketing and Segmentation for Cox Communications. Did we get everything in that bucket that
yeah,
we
I think you did, yeah.
in your title, Luis? So, you know, known each other a long time, so just to get started, I know it's a little off topic, but how's everybody? How did everybody fare with COVID in your family? How are you doing over there in Arizona?
Yeah, everybody is good. Thank you for asking. Have a graduate, high school graduate of 2020 and a college freshman of 2020. So it was an experience, but I feel pretty good about this generation of kids. They're going to do some interesting things given how 2020 has fared them.
Well, hopefully, I think we're counting on them to change the world, right?
Yeah, please.
Well, congratulations on all your graduates.
Thank you very much.
And all the new stuff, and I'm glad everybody's good. And actually, I wanted to start off our interview talking about COVID, because I imagine that for Cox Communications, COVID did a lot of things in terms of moving things around for you in your internet business, your video business, I'd love to hear. Let's start with the internet, because of course, I know a lot of folks really needed internet in these days. So tell me a little bit about what happened.
Well, fortunately, the business is healthy. Through the second quarter, and as more people began to work and learn from home, we've seen an increased interest, obviously, in broadband products. We've seen lower churn because of it. We have grown total customer relationships and are still experiencing year-to-date growth. Actually, we've seen growth since COVID equal to growth of the past 2 years from a customer relationship standpoint. So that's pretty, from a company standpoint, gives us a lot of good feeling about the direction of where we're taking our internet product. But as you know, throughout the second quarter, and as more people are learning from home, what COVID did was accelerated the inevitability of trends that we didn't anticipate. Obviously, work from home, learning from home was one of them, but it really exposed a service accessibility gap, specifically from lower income households, and realizing more and more that people who were just using mobile bandwidth was not going to cut it at home, given all the constraints that COVID has brought on. So to help more customers and stay connected, we've done a lot of things. We've temporarily reduced prices on entry-level broadband tiers and offered our Connect to Compete product, which is our service for low-income K through 12 families for free for 60 days. Working directly with the schools to get as many kids signed up as possible who participated. We also participated, which I'm sure many of my peers did, was the FCC Keep America Connected pledge. But also other things that Cox went above and beyond was, we paused collections and non-pay disconnect activity throughout the second quarter for broadband and phone service for those who were financially impacted from the crisis, and opening up thousands of free Wi-Fi hotspots in our communities to really have people, engage. If they can't get it at home, if they're not, or they can't work at home, look for one of our hotspots. We've expanded it into residential areas, which is great. And now we're waiving fees for C2C through June 2021 to help kids stay connected as a back-to-school effort.
So now I imagine a lot of the things that you just talked about impacted everyone in your footprint. This is the Hispanic Television Summit. So, was there anything different that you saw in the Hispanic market? Did you see anything sort of, different trends evolving?
Sure. I think the biggest trend, a universal trend we saw from a Hispanic marketing standpoint was as you know, Hispanics over-index on mobile usage as primary source of internet. We did see an influx of Hispanic customers coming in realizing that the mobile broadband is not enough that's needed at the home, especially if one or two people are working from home. Fortunately, if they are, and if one, two, three potentially people or kids are learning remotely from school. March came and really kind of threw everybody into a panic, but I think consumers have been able to see after the summer, see usage, and see what's needed to anticipate this upcoming school year. I mean, for us, and I'm sure for my peers in the broadband business, we saw where we normally saw peak usage on Saturday, Sunday, we saw peak usage every day of the week. So from a capacity standpoint, we were able to continue delivering quality internet. And from a connection standpoint, we were able, from a Hispanic standpoint specifically, connect more Hispanic families online with a broadband connection at home.
Right, that's excellent. And those connections have been maintained throughout, or are you seeing any churn on that, or is it a sticky situation?
So, we obviously would love to say that every churn mitigation effort that we're putting forth is the reason why we're seeing low churn, but the consumer is realizing now, I think I've joked about this in the past, it's Maslow's hierarchy of needs within the home. It was food, electricity, water, right? Now I'm thinking it's food, electricity, internet, water, because families are now realizing two things about the internet: the importance of having a stable connection, and the importance of speed and being able to maintain that speed.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, COVID accelerated a lot of good things for the industry, but it also exposed a lot of things about society at large and their access to internet. And at Cox, we're just trying to do whatever we can to deliver on those needs.
Yeah, the digital divide is not.
It's for reals.
Right. So that's your internet product, so it's all good news there.
Mm-hmm.
What happened with video overall, and then specifically for Hispanic? Because there could be the argument that people are home more, they need more entertainment and all that, but at the same time, we know that a lot of people are under financial distress, and you already had a segment of the population that was lower income and all of that kind of stuff, and just more budget conscious. So how did your video product fare overall, and then of course specifically your Hispanic tiers impacted?
Sure. So like I said before, COVID accelerated a lot of things that we had anticipated from a behavioral trend standpoint, but it also accelerated behavior around a product that we were introducing very slowly, which was our Contour Stream player. It provides a one-stop entertainment experience that lets you stream your favorite apps, music, over 1,000 movies from SVOD and shows, and it goes to any TV in the house without a cable outlet. So you would need a internet connection, obviously, and who it's good for, or who's primarily interested in it, are those consumers who most likely have primarily stream content, value seekers, and people who have cut the cord, so to speak. We've given them the opportunity to continue that streaming aspect with our internet product, but also experiencing our Contour UI, our Contour experience online. And they're still streaming. The great thing about it, they have complete control with our Contour remote. I think I have one right here, actually, because since working from home, I have to watch TV, right? But they can control Netflix through the Contour remote. They can control Hulu through the Contour, YouTube. So it's fantastic. It exposes our product to a new set of users without having to let go of their video options.
Right. Does it have like universal search across all those things, all those services, or is that not part of the features?
Universal search within our UI, yeah.
Yeah.
As long as we have it within the movie, within our contained system, it does.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
So, but as you
And
said earlier, though, our wired, we still have a lot of opportunity to grow our Latino Pack business.
right, so let's talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah, so we exposed the Latino Pack to a whole new set of users that probably didn't watch a lot of linear television. And what is interesting, and again back to behavioral trends, as people are realizing the need they're going into the fall, where they initially probably came in from C2C or a lower tier internet, they're realizing, back to my point, the importance of speed and the consistency of speed. So as they're getting more speed, more options open up for them to have some video products, and experimenting more with that. We have seen Latino Pack. I think everybody has seen some video tiers increase during COVID. Now we're just waiting to see the pre-COVID numbers versus the post-COVID numbers. That initial April, May spike that everyone experienced.
Sure, absolutely. So, speaking of Hispanics and video, and of course that's great that your your take rates for your Hispanic package are pretty good still. What are you thinking in terms of how the Hispanic market for content has evolved and changed, and not just about COVID, but overall, like there's been so many changes, right? There's demographic shifts, there's acculturation shifts, streaming, fragmentation, all sorts of things that are happening in the Hispanic market. How is that impacting the business of programming to the Hispanic community or selling video to the Hispanic
Sure.
community?
So from a selling video standpoint, what we saw, again, back to my recurring theme, COVID accelerated a lot of trends. You look at Disney Plus, you look at what Peacock is doing. This direct-to-consumer trend is giving consumers a lot more choice than they've had before. COVID accelerated those choices. COVID accelerated the opportunity to see how those choices are marketed and to see how they're being received by Hispanic consumers. And with regarding to content, I've talked about this before many times. It's not just about Spanish language content anymore. It's on content of how we can entertain the family. I'm curious to see now where a two-time-a-month moviegoer who would spend $50 each time, that's $100 a month. Where does that become in a streaming aspect or of a traditional cable aspect? Is the content being provided at the home as good or equal to where they can reinvest some of that? So those are kind of the things that we're seeing real time and are studying from a behavior standpoint. And there needs to be a plateau when everything gets back to normal to see if those trends continue. But I think COVID accelerated a behavior that a lot of, let's say, the movie picture industry didn't want to see, which is delivering home movies directly to the home.
Right. Exactly. Well, I wouldn't complain if all that revenue came our way, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm not complaining at all. I'm trying to be objective about the behavior,
Right.
But it would be nice to see how movie production houses market to homebound, or it's not even homebound. It's almost a choice now. Having kids within this age group that are suffering for the 2020 graduation, and just reading about generally from a national perspective, these kids don't necessarily want to go out every Friday, Saturday night. And if they are, video or video sharing, which I discovered is a thing where they can watch a movie and 5 people are online watching the movie at the same time. Why do I need to get up and go out if I'm being social? Right. I'm enjoying commerce and I'm in the safety of my home, especially right now. So I wonder how long those habits will go beyond COVID.
Right.
We got to get beyond COVID first, though.
Right, exactly. And I want to pick up on something you said about not necessarily, for Hispanic content, it's not necessarily in Spanish.
Yeah.
Can you expand on that a little bit?
Sure.
What your vision of sort of the future of Hispanic programming might look like?
I'm not sure if it's a vision yet, but it is definitely seeing how multi-generational families are dealing with entertainment content. I think that more what we would call mainstream networks are realizing that multicultural is general market now, definitely for 18 and below, right? And how the programming is being created, how shows are being developed, how the actors are being selected, and the situations also are, I'm amongst family with the Hispanic Summit group. It's not as stereotypic as well, showing a lot of different colors and faces in a more middle class to upper middle class. Not saying that there's no need to talk about the issues out there, but as you know, programming wants to show the best of society, and I think a lot of filmmakers, program developers are seeing that multicultural is definitely becoming the mainstream. And when I say multicultural, it's not only skin color, it's sexual orientation, it's different generation families living within each, biracial families. So
right, and linguistic diversity.
Linguistic diversity, yeah.
I think we're getting close to the end of our 15 minutes. Of course, I forgot to pay attention to when we started.
I think we're close. I think you're right. Yeah.
But I do want to wrap up with a question, because I know that a lot of people that are going to be watching today are on the network side of the business, and I imagine that you have a big influence on programming decisions and stuff like that. So, what would you say to potential programming partners who might want to do business with Cox, that might want to get distribution with Cox, in this day and age, given COVID, given the price sensitivities that everybody has, given the way that you're now currently packaging and bundling your products, what can a programming partner do to help you in your business and be a better partner?
I would say one of the big things is to look beyond linear. From an app production, app sustainability, that we can help distribute your content as well. More and more people are going online. It is nice to see our traditional linear packages doing some improvement, but until we get past this COVID aspect, is it still going to maintain? And how much of it can we transfer to a digital platform? There's technology there that needs to be made, but I would recommend to program creators and networks to really focus in on your delivery of your content beyond linear.
Excellent. Luis, it's great to see your face.
Likewise, great to see you as well.
Hopefully we'll be able to see each other in person one of these days soon.
I hope so. It's been a long time. I hope I didn't see anybody, in person.
Exactly. But it's been a pleasure, and thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me.
My pleasure. I hope everyone has a good rest of the conference online.
Absolutely. Excellent. All right. As they do in Zoom days,
See
we're supposed to wave now.
Thank you.
All right. Take care.